Anthony from Houston, Texas, been a fan of the show since 2013. My two favorite finishers of all time are the RKO, and though it means nothing now, Sweet Chin Music. My favorite RKO was the one he hit on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, followed closely by the one on Evan Bourne. I think the unquestioned best Sweet Chin Music ever was the one on Raw on Shelton Benjamin. What do you think are the three best RKOs and the three best Sweet Chin Musics of all time? I agree with you on the best RKO and the best super kick. I think you nailed it. I've gone back many times to rewatch that Shelton Benjamin one, and it looks just as good today as it did then. You could not have timed that any better or sold it any better. There was an RKO that Orton gave Chad Gable. It had to be in the last few years because it was during the RK Bro run where Gable came off the top rope for his moonsault and Orton slipped under him and caught him with an RKO on the way down. It just looked fantastic. There was another one where Orton hit Ricochet with the RKO, and I have not seen a sell job on an RKO like that since like RVD. How Ricochet didn't break his neck, I'll never know. Those may be the best ones I've seen after the one to Rollins and the one to Evan Bourne. For Shawn Michaels super kicks, and it is a shame how the move has just been bastardized. But as far as his super kicks go, I've always loved the one that he hit on Triple H to win the world title in the first Elimination Chamber and the one he hit him with when they wrestled on Raw for the world title. And then Shawn fell backwards on top of him. Everybody in San Antonio thought he won the championship, only for Eric Bischoff to point out that both of their shoulders were on the mat. I've got to throw the most famous one in there, the super kick to Marty Jannetty on the barbershop, which broke up the Rockers. I mean, how could you not have that one? And the one that he hit Bret Hart with when he stood up out of his wheelchair and Shawn kicked him clear over the chair. The chair tipped over. I mean, Bret sold the hell out of that kick, but Shawn was so mad when he got to the back. He realized that Bret took so long burying him on the mic that they went off the air and they never aired the kick. He was going on so long about boy toy, you and your Pierce navel, your slime, I mean, he's going on, and Shawn's just standing there looking down at him in his wheelchair, just having to take the whole thing. Didn't even realize they put the copyright box on the screen and off they went. And then they did the super kick. But I'll give you one more. And honestly, this one is top three for me. I think my top three would be the Shelton Benjamin one, the barbershop one, and this one. It was against Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21. Shawn is out of it. It's late in the match. He keeps kicking out and getting out. Kurt grabs him. He drags him like by his ears, I think, back to his feet. And he is yelling at him, "Your days are done. Tap out. Tap out." And Shawn shoves him away, and he super kicked the hell out of him. Got this huge pop. They showed Angle on the mat, out cold, blood coming from his mouth. That was one of the best super kicks I've ever seen. Matey from New York, what are your top 10 favorite movies? I get a lot of these kinds of questions, like the top 5, top 10, top 20, this and that. And I hate doing these on the spot like that. Like, I've done top 10 countdowns before on the show, but I just hate, like, I can't answer them all. Like, you can't ask somebody to come up with top 10 anything on the spot. But I gave this a little bit of thought. I'm going to give it to you. So here you go. Top 10 favorite movies. No particular order. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is probably my favorite movie of all time. Die Hard. Goodfellas. Scarface. Heat, which was the first time we got Pacino and De Niro on screen together. Great action movie. The first Halloween from 1978. The Thing, John Carpenter's version from 82. The original RoboCop. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. And Scream. Those are my top 10 movies. I'll give you 2 honorable mentions. I mean, I can come up with a lot of honorable mentions, but I'll give you 2 of them. Misery. Misery is a very good movie. You don't really hear a lot about it, but Kathy Bates, James Caan, great movie. And Cloverfield. You guys know my love for Cloverfield. And when that movie came out in 2008, I was all over that shit like a cheap suit. And I have gone back many times to rewatch that movie. And I was very excited last year when I read that they were finally doing a proper sequel. And I've heard nothing about it since, so I don't know what's going on with that. But Cloverfield has to get an honorable mention. You know, I mentioned RoboCop. Kurtwood Smith was just on the Rich Eisen show this week. Funny enough, they were talking a little bit about RoboCop, one of the greatest villains of all time. He's 80 years old now. Doesn't look a day over 60, but he looks 60 since 1988. God bless the guy. I never saw a single episode of that 70s show. He will always be Clarence Boddicker to me. And I love how every comment in the comment section underneath the video is a line from RoboCop, from his character in RoboCop. Like, nobody is talking about that 70s show. Nobody is talking about Dead Poet Society. It's all RoboCop in the comment section. See, these are people of culture. These are my kind of people.